Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to Cocktails After Dark. Today we're going to do another cocktail out of this little book called Cocktails by Jimmy, late of Ciro's in London. This was published in 1930 in Canada, here in Toronto. And we're going to do a recipe called Bunny's Hug. And it is dead simple. Let's get to it. And so I'm going to make this two ways. And the first way is with this Dillon's Rye Gin. Dillon's is produced locally. So an ounce of that there. And in the second cocktail, I'm going to use an internationally available Bombay Sapphire gin for all those people that can't get Dillon's. Next, it's an equal measure of absinthe. And again, Dillon's from here in Niagara. And the last ingredient, it calls for Scotch whiskey. And I struggled with this one, which Scotch whiskey to use. I'm just going to use Chivas. It's a blended Scotch whiskey, fairly good for mixing drinks. So, so many choices. And we'll ice those. Give them a stir.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey,
Hey,
Jules.
friends.
Welcome.
That has a great smell.
It's absinthe. It's the absinthe.
Yes, that would make sense. It's just like you can just feel it, smell it,
Yes.
wafting through the air.
I'm a little worried that it's going to overpower the entire drink.
Why is there a lot in it?
There's equal parts gin, whiskey, and absinthe.
Okay.
It's called the Bunny's Hug. I have to try really hard not
But
to
not
say...
a bunny hug.
Not a bunny hug. I have to try really hard not to say bunny hug. If you know, you know. And you're probably from Saskatchewan. Okay, so...
The absinthe definitely dominates that flavor.
Yes.
So if you don't like licorice,
It-
this is not for you.
Okay, so yours was made with Bombay Sapphire.
Okay.
This one's made with Dillon's Gin.
Okay.
So let's...
It has a different smell. Slightly.
Different flavor altogether. To me, different flavor altogether. Still very anise forward or licorice forward from the absinthe.
That is the better drink.
Yes.
There's something harsh about this. I can't quite put I don't have the words to say other than it feels a little harsh.
It felt flat to me.
There's something about it that the end, I would kind of go,
Yep,
like it just dries my mouth out instantly.
I would grab for this one.
I'm just going to set that one over there. We can fight over that one.
And that's the thing with, you start getting into local craft produced gin, and you're going to get a lot of different flavors that you're not going to find with the big London dry gins or the big international gin brands. Now, speaking of craft, this is batch number 54, and we talked in an earlier episode that we thought that it had changed. I managed to find a tiny little bit
Ooh, taste off.
of batch 43. So,
43.
as if we need not too many batches earlier, and as if we need any more
Gin.
gin today. So, you can pour batch 43, and I will pour batch 54. You know, and I know that there are people out there. Well, it's just barely enough for a taste.
I
isn't
know.
it?
There's, yeah, anyway.
I know there's people out there that collect these types of things. Okay. Oh,
Do they smell different?
yes. Okay, so that's
We got that far.
that's 53. Or 54. Sorry. That's 54.
Yeah, this one's more, I want to say junipery. Like there's something, there's a flavor that is more dominant in this
Yeah,
batch than
yeah.
that batch. I don't know if it's juniper per se. I want to say that, but I could be wrong about what the botanical is that is so strong in that one in comparison.
Side by side, even this way or in a blindfolded tasting, you would say those were two different gins. They are two different gins.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
there's
batch 43.
43 and 54.
And that's the difference. The people who make this have perfected creating something that consistently always is the same no matter what happens.
Yes. There may be a little bit of creep over the span of years, but for the most part, you open 20 bottles of that. You know, you buy a bottle in Singapore and buy a bottle in London, and they would taste exactly the same.
It's interesting though, because of course I've never had a conversation with the people from Dillon's.
No.
And so I don't know if they taste difference because they're changing or if it's just batch to batch
Just batch to
difference.
batch.
Don't know. So that's a curiosity.
They're only just down the highway. We should really get there someday. Anyway, so the Bunny Hug. Going back to the Bunny Hug, I like the Dillon's dry gin. This is made with rye, so it's got a little bit more of a spicy note to the gin. I think it makes a much better cocktail. Obviously,
You do have to like licorice.
yes, very, very licorice or anise forward. You could probably dial that back a little bit. Do a half part absinthe and get a really good beverage if you're not into it. Play with the scotch.
Yeah, that could have a completely different
Completely
influence.
different
Yeah.
input. Yeah.
You go, because if you did with it like, not that it fits the definition, but something from Isla,
Yeah.
you'd have that completely smoky flavor that adds
Yeah.
into that.
And I don't think I'd want to. I mean, I've got a.
I'm just saying
yeah.
that's like that extremely different flavor.
Yep,
Like I
yep.
just picked something that I knew would taste completely different.
completely off the edge. And so I've got a bunch of different Scotch whiskeys that I could have chosen, but I thought that's probably the most
Available.
favorable and also favorable for a mixed cocktail.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Doesn't come with, yeah.
you
got
could
it.
play with all of these ingredients and, never drink the same cocktail twice for the rest of your life.
Yes, you could.
Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.